This is my second video in regards to the BCG matrix. First video showing you how to actually construct the BCG to work out where your product sits in relation to the areas of question marks, stars, cash cows or dogs. One of the benefits of the BCGs is it has a fairly close relationship to the product life cycle, a fairly basic concept in marketing that most of us should have a fairly good grasp on understanding. One of the things that the BCG allows us to do is to work out where we sit on this life cycle based on where we land within the relative market share and the market growth rate. Question marks are problem children. They're called question marks because we don't know whether they're going to increase their market share or whether sales are going to start declining or whether the market growth might actually reduce. So we start off here on the product life cycle in introduction stage, and what sits here are the question marks or problem children, because they might actually continue to grow up through the product life cycle, in which case they'll turn into the next stage of a star, or they might actually go into decline, in which case it's product failure. We instantly move into dog territory and we usually leave the product segment. So as we continue, so we have sales going up on this left hand side. Now what we can also put there instead of sales would be market share. And so as this line continues to grow, you can see that this bit down here is a fairly steep curve. So that means that the market growth rate over time is fairly high, or at least higher than certainly at the top stage up here where it flattens out. So because we have a steep part of the curve here, we're talking at high market growth. But because our sales are quite low, we have low relative market share. And so this stage down here in introduction are our question marks or our problem children. As we grow into higher market share, so up here in our growth stage, so you can see on this left axis of sales or market share, we have high market share. So we're moving from a question mark over to being a star of product. The steepness of this curve, we still have some steep aspect to it, so it's still considered high market growth. So then in our growth stage here we have star products. As we move into our next stage we have maturity, and you can see the curve really flattens out. So that's when our market growth, because it's not continuing to go up, our market growth has slowed, so we have low market growth. But we still have high market share because we're still sitting way up here. We're still selling lots of product considered a cash cow of a product. As sales start to decline, now this is negative market growth. The market's actually reducing in size, or certainly our market share is reducing in size. So because we're moving from a low market growth, we're moving down here. The market is still growing low. In fact, it's actually shrinking in some cases, and our market share has now declined, so we're then considered to have a dog of a product. And so that's how the BCG can actually be used between two different concepts. And so you should know some other things about what happens in stages of the product life cycle, about competitiveness, about prices, about innovation to your products, that can give you an idea just by doing a fairly simple calculation to work out where you sit on the BCG matrix, can determine what sort of product you have and what stage within the product life cycle this product is. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit more about the BCG and how it can be a fairly useful tool for planning and organising some of your marketing activities.